Everything good? I know this is so weird because since you guys are the first ones here, you'll get kind of the inside scoop, but it's always 15 seconds delayed for me because I'm streaming on mobile and there's like a latency. So I'm trying to watch it back and I'm not seeing anything right now, which is a little scary. Should probably turn my sound off too. Yeah, so today we're going to go ahead and just chat about my Amazon sales for this week. If you didn't know about Amazon sales and payouts, normally the way it works is you send stuff into Amazon and then they'll pay it out a couple weeks later. Sometimes they'll have a reserve. We'll definitely talk about reserve because I still have a reserve on my account, and almost everyone I know has a reserve. The only time I've heard of someone not having a reserve is on the Pure Hustle podcast. I listened to them a couple times, and one of them has been selling for ages, and he doesn't have a reserve, and he almost had to come out of pocket one Christmas, so that wasn't good. But yeah, we'll be going over how everything's still going. What's up, Greg? Good to see you. And yeah, we'll go over that. I have a bunch of little papers, so we'll be kind of switching between this view as well as I'll take that camera off and turn it around so we can see those specific papers. If anybody has any questions at any time, just let me know and we'll run through those while we run through all this information kind of as they come because I'm not really good at going back and getting everything. Greg. Yeah, how long have you had an account? I'm really interested since you don't have a reserve. I've been selling just under a year, and so I still have one. I would love to know how long it's been, and now that the fact that you don't have a reserve, that'd be good to know. Yeah, these are always so awkward to try to start, and I'm really not good at it, but I did have a poll that I put out to see how many people that you guys would guess. What's up, Adonis? See how many, I had you guys guess what my payout was going to be, and you guys, let's take a screenshot of that. I had 74 responses. And I'm not a big time seller, and this has been a pretty poor month because I've been focusing a lot on YouTube, so it's been pretty bad on Amazon. Let me see if this will work. If anytime you can't see anything that I'm doing, just let me know. But let's go ahead and, wow, this is definitely, people who live stream and have multiple screens up at the same time are superheroes to me. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, so I put my poll up and 74 people responded. I can't seem to get my mouse back. And it looks like the majority guess was $2,436.51 and 28% of people guessed $1,751.34. Only 8% of people this time said I and Kevin, so we have less liars, which is a good thing. And but the correct answer, oh geez, oh that's from something else, I think, was the $1,700 figure. So 28% of people got it correct. As you can see over here, I had to blur it out in the thumbnail so that I didn't have it blurred initially, so some people might have gotten it just from that, but $1,751.34 is what I got in my payout, which if you've been selling on Amazon for a while or you're a pretty big seller is not a ton. That's actually, it's less than what I would need 100% of the time to make in order to be full-time like I am. But that's for a couple of reasons that we'll get into. 2015. Okay. Greg, when did you lose your reserve? How long have you not had to have one? Because you've been on for 6 years now, which is crazy. But yeah, Donis, you got your payout today. Yeah, the bank takes 2 to 3 days to be reflected. Yeah, that makes sense. That's one of the reasons I like to use credit cards. I've had a lot of people, when I've mentioned that, say that they want a video on that, and I do have one coming out that I'm in the process of writing right now. Today was kind of the start of one of my scripting days. You never had a reserve thing. That must be a recent thing that they did because a lot of scammers came in, but you got grandfathered in. That's awesome. Yeah, my payout, so that's one of the interesting things. I was going to touch on this later, but Adonis, my payout initially was like 2 or 3 days. So my payouts are on Tuesdays. So today, 2 weeks from now, every single 2 weeks. And then when I changed to an LLC, it was like 4 or 5 days that I'd have to wait for like the first couple as they got their bearings. But now I only have to wait 1 day. And so I got paid yesterday and I've already transferred all the money, which is something that we'll talk about later, into the accounts that it needs to go into, which is kind of nice. I don't know if it's because it's a business now rather than a personal account, or I don't know if it's Chase, who's the person that I have that account with, who gives more credence to me as a business and gives me my money sooner. I'm not 100% sure, but that's interesting. Yeah, Greg, never had a reserve, started out small, and even then there was no reserve. That's awesome. Okay, so we'll kind of get into the breakdown of the sales charts. And I have written a ton of notes. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys over here to me, and we'll talk through what all this looks like. I think I forgot to redact something on here. Let me do that real quick. Knock on wood, they might implement them for everybody. Yeah, Greg, I hope not too. I do think it's less, from what I've heard, they like can phase it out. And mine, I think, used to be bigger, but it's gotten smaller over time. And it's now to the point where I'm pretty sure, so since I got paid out, my reserve balance went to 0 when I got paid out. I know sometimes they used to hold some of that for me, but now I get paid out, and then my reserve is 0, and then my reserve builds back up from the sales that I make. I don't know if that's exactly how it works, but it's how it seems to be for me. Let me snag you guys real quick, and we'll take a look at this sales report down here. So if you are new to selling on Amazon or you haven't seen a lot of this, wow, my handles are way too shaky. I'm going to put you guys down, and then we can do it this way. Okay, so we'll start here at the top, and we have the total balance. I had to look into this today because when I tell you guys about something, I kind of want to know what I'm talking about, and I didn't know what this was. So on the total balance, you see we have standard orders, invoiced orders, open invoices, and all accounts, and that's going to be this is the period which just ended for me yesterday. And so standard orders are the sales for just any normal thing on Amazon. That's kind of what we would buy stuff as, you and me, for the most part. But if you have a special agreement with Amazon, you can actually get invoices. And so my invoiced orders were $3.32. And then you see here that I also have open invoices, which account for $4.41. Now, what was really weird about that is I looked at what my open invoice was, and it was for like a gator that I sell, like one of the Hurley things that I'm like taking a beating on those right now, which is one of the reasons that we'll get to as to why my inventory amount is way more than, or what I need to pay is way more than it should be. But it was like only 40% of what that cost was. So I don't know exactly how they calculate what they're going to invoice and whatnot, but that's what that is. And then what's interesting is that my open invoices when they get paid, you're going to get paid from Amazon, except they also said that when your invoiced orders get paid, if they don't get paid, but Amazon still invoices the customer, if it's been 7 days after they invoice the customer, then they'll take the hit for the invoice and they'll credit it to your account. Like most things, it's kind of hard to exactly trust Amazon on everything, but I have always gotten those open invoices paid, at least to my knowledge. It's always been super small amounts, and I haven't checked too much, but that's that. And then the interesting thing, too, is this invoiced orders. This is from open invoices that were paid this month, and that goes right over here to my last payout. These are going to be recent most payouts. This was for my last quote-unquote big payout. It was obviously a very small payout, and that's just because of some things that we got to last month. I have not been sending inventory into Amazon because I've been focusing a lot more on YouTube, which is not great, but that's that. And then this payout gets paid to me on the same day. Like I received it from Chase today, just like I received my big payout, but they come in separate payments. And that one normally says that it gets sent the night before I'm supposed to get paid out. So I'll normally get that one on like Monday night, and then I'll get my normal payout on Tuesday morning is when I'll see that email. Frank, do you get to choose whether your buyers can pay via split payments? I don't think so. If that's like in regards to like invoices or anything, because I do everything FBA, I have Amazon really take care of all of that crap for me, so I don't really have to worry about it. But I don't think that there's anything that we can do. I think that you could definitely reach out to customers and like put feedback or even notes for yourself when you look at an order in your system. I'm not sure if you can change to split payments. If anyone knows, let Frank know. That'd be sweet. And then after we got the types of orders over here, it won't turn for me. We're going to see what funds are available. Now, I looked at this a little bit, and we have $214.99 is what it says is available. That was when I printed this out this morning. And what I wrote on kind of just my notes for the paper was that I've never tried this before, but theoretically, you can ask for this money. And if anyone's ever hit request payment and like gotten money, I don't see the need to do that personally because I put stuff on credit cards, so I don't need the money back for inventory. So I don't really worry about that too much, but that $214.99 is there. Frank said, if they do split payments, do they get paid all at once or in payments also? I've not sold anything large enough for payments yet. Hey, Joanna, good to see you. Yeah, so Frank, for the split payments question, I honestly have like very little experience. I don't know if Amazon allows customers to do split payments. I would imagine that it's like, I would imagine, and this is total conjecture, so take this worth absolutely nothing, is that they would pay you because Amazon would have that on their balance sheet as a receivable, which would be an asset. And so they're not worried about collecting that because they would just write that off to taxes, if anything, and you would still get paid. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but that would be my guess. Adonis. What I find weird at times is that my payout was today, but it still shows the amount being paid out rather than 0. I'm guessing it may be that my statement hasn't closed yet. Where is it saying the amount being paid out rather than 0? That's interesting, yeah. And then one thing too, here, let me open up Seller Central so I can show you guys kind of with that payments thing, is it'll show you a couple different. So at the top here on Seller Central, you have like the payments dashboard. You can see deferred transactions, statement view, transaction view, all statements. You can click over here into disbursements actually. Let me make sure it doesn't have any of my bank information real quick. And then I'll just show you the top right here. I don't think it has any of my bank information, but I am not in a headspace to be able to check that. I am so sorry that my hands are so shaky. I don't know why I'm nervous whenever I do these. So scheduled payout. Gosh, Anthony, come on. It says scheduled payout here. Processing, sent to bank, and acknowledged by bank. And so that's for the statement that I have now. I just took my hand off, so obviously that means nothing. But then it shows, you can check here to see kind of what happened with your payout, Adonis. I'm not sure if you've done that before, but that is something you can do. Yeah, you can request payments once every 24 hours and theoretically get paid daily, Nathan. Interesting. Yeah, I've always seen that I've had that balance there, but I've never kind of needed to deal with it or wanted to deal with it. Yeah. Hey, Jonathan. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to learn. Amazon has a lot of good stuff on their own website, on just their Seller University, I think is what it's called, that you can do. And they'll give you a lot of good information. But yeah, you could definitely, it's a process and that'd be good for you. So back to the statement here that we look at. Whoa, that is very dark. Yeah, Frank, my payouts have been pretty fast too. I think they're kind of just testing the waters. Probably it's both Amazon and the bank testing the waters. More so the bank. I used to work at a bank, and they can be a pain in the butt with getting people their money. That was annoying on the customer service end, but very understandable from what I heard from the customers. Yeah, recent payouts is there. And then over here in account type, you can actually click this, and instead of seeing account standard orders, you can actually switch it to see just the invoices. And then on the settlement period, I don't know why you'd ever see invoices here because, well, at least for me, I only have like $4 or $5. And so it really doesn't show anything. It just says the charges. And then, oh, that's freaking why. I'm so stupid. Wow. The reason it says $4.41 is because that's what I get back after the sale of the Hurley item. It's not going to give me all the money that the customer paid. I feel really dumb now. But yeah, it was like a $9.50 item. It was supposed to sell for $19 or $20, but that was a bad buy like 5 months ago. So now I'm just kind of liquidating a lot of dead stock. But I'm getting back $4.41 after fees, which is why it says $4.41 on open invoices. Okay, there you go. Sometimes you realize stuff after being dumb for a while. And then you can also change your settlement period, and you can kind of go back. And I did that while researching a couple other things we'll talk about for this video, but you can look at any settlement period. This is the last one. You can look at the current one, which is what we had up a second ago. And then you can enter a transaction number. I've never used this. Or enter an order number and find a transaction. I've never used that. But you can look to see how much any specific order made you. There. Let me see. Awesome. No new comments. And then so this is going to be our net proceeds and everything from this month. Let me actually look at this one so that I can just tell you what this one. This is the pay amount that I got paid to my bank account. I also got this same one, the $3.32. We won't really be covering that much, but when we get to how I allocated this money in my business to move it forward, we will just assume that that's in that part, but until then, it's not. And I probably won't say that again because I'm going to completely forget. But 1751. Man, I'm so bad at pronouncing some of these screen names. Sin R. Thanks for stopping by. Adonis, since I've worked at banks, you think since I have my deposit going to Chime account rather than a BOA account, online account versus a brick and mortar bank, would cause a delay? Adonis, I'm not sure if that's necessarily what would cause the delay. Some banks just have different processing times. I think, is this the first time you've gotten a payout? If so, or the first couple, like banks just want to be a little bit more careful with that, especially because I'm sure Amazon is a high money laundering kind of activity, or a lot of places like that can be high for money laundering. And banks, there's a lot of AML, anti-money laundering laws that they have to abide by and worry about. But I don't think it should be that big of an issue because a lot of times the online banks process things faster. That's how it's been with a lot of my online personal accounts. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah, Frank, there's always so much to learn. So, back here to net proceeds. I'm going to walk over to grab my GorillaPod because I had that set up at the other live streaming station. So, we got the net proceeds amount. Where'd it go? Where'd I put it? Oh, no, I don't. I put it over here. Sorry. All right. That way I can actually stand up higher. Look at that. No more crouching. Cool. So the pay amount, and then we'll just kind of work down this way and then over to this side. Our beginning balance is what the last statement reserve was for me. I'm not exactly sure if it's what it's going to be for everybody, but it's what's left over after you get paid out last. So is everything in good quality? It looks kind of funky on my phone. If it's like not great, just let me know. Adonis, how long have you been at the new bank? Yeah, if you've been something for a year and a half. I noticed when I changed bank, it took like 4 or 5 days for my first like 3 or 4 payments. But yeah. And then Sin sign, I'm sorry for mispronouncing that, but it is blurry. Okay, sorry. I'll try to hold still. I'm jittery today. I don't know why. Not sure if anyone asked, how long did it take for you to incur or proceeds or profit? So when I started, I was working at a 9 to 5, and like actually after going through a lot of these numbers and just realizing like how little I'm making like in terms of overall profit, just in terms of like compared to when I was working at a job or what I could be making, and that's just because that's my purpose. Like a lot of you guys, if you've been at this channel, know that my purpose isn't to make the most Sin. Okay, thanks, Sin. Most people know that. I lost my train of thought. I'm not trying to like make the most money possible at Amazon. I'm trying to use it to like buy my time. It was what let me quit my job, but like making videos, interacting with you guys, helping people find the freedom that they want in their life with their business and their money is kind of what I'm here to do. But when I started at Amazon, I pretty much put everything back in my business. I started buying stuff in August, got my first sale at the beginning of September, and I left my job in November, and I didn't have to start taking money out until December. So 3 months-ish, three and change is what I just put money straight back in my business and didn't take any money out for myself. And so like from my first sale, I started to make like technically profit on paper just in terms of that one item. If you're using accrual accounting, that we don't have to get into that. I don't know why I said that, but from that point, I started taking money out of my business, and because I'm doing everything on credit with credit cards, which I'm going to get into a little bit more, I've been able to make money, but it hasn't necessarily been. I've had to carry a little bit of debt. It's been like anywhere from net debt, which is everything that I have positive in my business. I don't include my Amazon reserve payout in that, but everything that I have that like I can liquidate in my business minus, or my credit cards minus that, it's normally been around $1,500 to $2,000. But since I had enough credit limit that I can continually buy stuff and send stuff in, I'm not having to pay any interest on any of that. And so I've taken out December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I've taken out $8,000-ish from Amazon, working like probably 6 to 8 days a month. And so that's what I've been able to make. Sin. That was a very long, rambling answer. Same day deposit, Frank. Yeah, using Chase. I do like Chase for a lot of things. I walked into Chase, and if you watched one of my videos before, you know that I have like 10 different business bank accounts. And I was like, hey, I want to open up 15 business bank accounts. And the lady looked at me like I was crazy. And so I opened up 3 there, and then I have some other at BB&T and one at Bluevine, which is an online place. Yes, Nathan, 3.5 months until I paid myself. Yeah, Frank, same for me. Usually the next day. That might be a Chase thing. Not sure. How long until I get I pay back all debts from your inventory. I'm still carrying some inventory debt right now. That was one of my goals that I laid out in, I forget which video I talked about my goals for this quarter. I think it was in my achieving all my goals from Q3 or Q2 video, but my goal is to be inventory debt free by the end of this quarter. I'm relatively comfortable carrying some debt. It's just, I don't want to. It's more like just a nagging thing. Like, it's not uncomfortable, not super uncomfortable, but like, I'd rather just kind of get rid of it. Yeah. Hey, Katie. What kind of videos do I see myself making in the future? Will I transition out of FBA type videos as the channel grows? That's a good question. That's a question I don't want people to ask because a lot of my growth has been from FBA. But no, I don't think I'll be transitioning from FBA videos at all. But it's definitely, it'll be in the mix. Like, the way that I think about YouTube is in terms of like silos of a business or pillars. And so instead of like, I pretty much did a lot of my Q2 videos because I realized at the very beginning, I posted my very first reselling vlog, and I was kind of really against doing reselling videos. I was really on the personal finance kind of deal, which I want to do more of those now and like kind of sprinkle those in. But I realized that in order to meet my goal, I kind of had to go really heavy into reselling because that's what was giving me a lot of traction. And so I did a lot of FBA videos and just kind of documenting my process and telling that story, and a lot of people responded to it. And so that's what grew my channel to the point where I was finally making money. And now that I'm making money, and like, because there's so much to like, my ultimate goal of helping people find a little bit more freedom with their money and their business, like whatever they want that to look like, whether that's a ton of money, whether that's not a lot of money but travel, like whatever that is, I'm going to be doing a lot more of the other sides of that, which includes personal finance. It includes like kind of business mindset and FBA. But this channel is really like, that's the treatise of the channel, and for me that has been through reselling, and that's a way that a lot of people can do it. But it's always, if you watch my videos, hopefully you've seen that it's been in that context, not in the like, you can make the most money, Amazon is easy, all of this. I'm not trying to like sell anybody on anything, but that's kind of where I see the channel going. Thanks for the question. Yeah, Joanna, all the to pay back the cards, that's definitely for me. And that was one of the things that it kind of frustrated me, going back to Nathan's question of when am I inventory debt free, is I was at the point where if we just think about like net debt in the business compared to what I have liquidatable, I don't know if that's a word, but I was able to be inventory debt free when I had to start paying myself. And that's one of the things that I've thought about a little bit, is because my profits on paper from the business are around $1,500 to $2,000 per month. Man, I was going to put all this in a video. I'm still going to put in a video that I have coming out, but you guys will already know all the information, so you'll have the goods beforehand. But my profits are anywhere from like $1,500 to, I think my biggest was like $3,000 in 1 month of like just pure profit on paper over my buy cost after FBA fees. If I would have waited until the new year, I would be at a point where instead of revolvingly having $1,500, $2,500 in debt, depending on if I've just purchased inventory, $1,500 to $3,000, depending on if I've just purchased inventory, I would be at a point where I would have nothing and everything would be more on a cash basis. And the place that I was working was a very toxic work environment, and I hated it. Like I needed to leave. Like, it was really bad for mental health. But like, man, if I was in like a little bit easier of a place, if I would have just stayed for like a little bit longer, and I toyed with that a lot within myself, but I just was at the point where like, no, I just needed to leave. And like, that's been fine. But today, as I was running through these numbers, I was like, man, if I would have just stayed 2 more months, I wouldn't have to worry about any of this crap. But yeah. Just a little J, why 15 business accounts? I have a video. I have a treatise of a video on that, which I'll throw in the chat real quick. If you want to watch it after that, if you don't want to watch it, that's cool. I won't ever push you to watch a video. It's not that serious, but essentially, and we'll get into it a little bit further as I work my way through kind of the content that I've set out to prepare for the day. I don't think it's letting me post. Oh no, it's because I have this emoji thing up. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's the link right there for the video if you want to just like archive it or whatever for later. And that goes into it in like a video form, which will probably be a little more succinct than this. But essentially, when you're looking at what your business does, I prefer to have separate bank accounts for everything my business does, which is pay myself for my work, pay myself for ownership in the business, operate the business, pay off inventory, save for the future. And then also on top of that, I have the YouTube channel, which has an operating account I have an income account for everything to go into. I only have 10 bank accounts now because I was able to mix a couple of them together. And then Carissa has a business as well, and we have them all under one LLC for now because none of them are making enough money to where it would make sense to create our LLC to be the umbrella corporation for the other ones. But as they start to hopefully make some more money, that's what we'll end up doing. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah. Switching from FBM to FBA for Q4 this year. Been doing FBM for a year. That's fun. That's great, Frank. I've never done FBM, so I can't speak to this, but I've heard a lot of people say that FBM is good for Q4 just because you have a lot faster fulfillment. But I personally don't want to have to deal with that mess, so I never do that. Do I know when Marshall or TJ Maxx get shipments of new stuff? I've heard it's every single day, but from what I've seen by going to them, and I've toyed with the idea of like a video of I go to the same store for every day for like a week and just see what's different there, and I might end up doing that. I have a lot of my problem is I have so many ideas and like I'm not the best at executing on all of them, and so I have I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then I never end up getting to it. But I've heard it's every day. From what I've seen, it's pretty much every day, but they get stuff in different areas, and since I prefer to source specific areas, like every week normally there's a little bit of a rotation. When I haven't been to a store for like a month or 2 months, I'm pretty excited because I know that there's probably a lot of new stuff. Sometimes it's not, but it's pretty much every day because most of these stores, especially specifically Ross, I know they'll put everything out on the floor because they're just trying to get rid of it as fast as possible. Yeah, thanks for answering each other's questions in the comments. That's helpful. Joanna, for me, are you asking did I do Q4? I did do Q4. I was selling, and then that's when I've had my biggest sales yet so far in Q4, and that's what I'm excited for. I do know that like there's definitely seasonality to all of this, and I'm excited for Q4 to come. And one of the things I'm planning on doing before I move into the van, which is what if you didn't know, I'm moving into a van here soon. But one of the things that I'm planning on doing is just like buying as much as I possibly can and just kind of putting it at good prices for Q4. Let me see if I can set a custom thing over the past year to show you what the difference was for me. Oh, dang it. Sorry, this is dead space. I feel very awkward in dead space, which is why my videos are so fast paced. If you can, oh, yep, nope, I can't do it. Sorry. Okay. Nathan, now you're gonna make me do the video, okay? Gosh. Okay, I'll do it. I take a screenshot whenever that happens, and I'll throw it into a folder that I have for like videos to do. Was at TJ and Ross yesterday, and the shelves were empty with the sign stating they're getting new. That's interesting. Yeah, that's one of the problems that like I'm facing with why my everything is so low is I haven't been going to stores as much because I've been doing a lot more YouTube stuff, and so. Yeah, that can be the case. That's interesting. I'm interested. I'm planning on going out either tomorrow or Friday, depending on how much I can batch through tomorrow, because I'm going to be putting up another video tomorrow and one on Saturday, and I need to make sure that I get those done, but that's interesting. Yes, Adonis, have an account just for taxes and a high APY, for sure. That's like the one thing. We're going to get to the accounts that I have in a second, or maybe not in a second, whenever we get to it, but that's the one thing that I like. You really should do is have an account separate for taxes as well as your income, for sure. And then that way, like that's essentially the same thing as getting a tax refund. Whenever you actually pay your taxes, you just pay out of that account whatever you can, and then you give yourself a bonus, which is your tax refund, and that is great. Got a lot of new people coming into the live stream, which is sweet. Thanks for being here. I hate when people say this, but I think it actually does help get the video out to more people. So if you're here, it'd be sweet if you like the video. No pressure. Yeah, Joanna. So I'm not sure necessarily if I dove into toys. I definitely like dip my fingers in the water of toys because pretty much all of them that I sent in I've sold at like my memory pricing price, which is still like a great profit. But I'm excited to go and run some more. Do I run campaigns on products? Is it feasible? Jay, I have never run any campaigns on products, but there might be some other people in the chat who have. A lot of people here have more experience than me. Hey, Alyssa. To hear what Carissa does for her business, does she have a YouTube channel? Carissa does not have a YouTube channel yet. She's never going to have one for her business, but we're creating one together, which is one of the things I've kind of been teasing at a couple of videos. That's going to be around our travels. I'll give just the treatise of it is we're both really passionate about telling stories, which hopefully you could tell from my videos, but we want to help to tell, not help to tell, like not that they can't at all, but we want to just travel around the States and tell stories of the people and places that we go to, because every person and every place has a story that's worth telling. And so we're just excited to go and do that and share our experience of what it's like to live in a van. They're yellow tagging at TJ Maxx around me. Those are the best times. I never knew about yellow tags for like the first little bit, because it was always just like the regular tags or the red tags. Then you get the yellow tags. That's good stuff. What apps do I use while sourcing? Pickle Rick. I would show you what I use, but I use Scoutify 2, which is part of Inventory Lab. I use Scout IQ, and then I also just use the Amazon Seller app and eBay. Scout IQ is $14 per month, and I only use it for Keepa, because a Keepa subscription after the conversion rate is like $24 per month, and I don't use a lot of the other features, and I just have the free plugin on my computer if I ever do any sourcing there. And then Scout IQ is $49 per month because it's a part of Inventory Lab, but that's also how I ship in all my inventory. I have all of the links for everything that I use in the description, like for all my softwares and everything like that, and they all explain the free trials that I have, because specifically for my repricer, which isn't something I use when I source, I have a special free trial that Be Cool gives you guys if you want, and they'll upgrade your free trial to a completely AI repricer and give you 30 days. But I posted a video on that recently where there's also a giveaway on that video if you want to check that one out. Has Tactical Arbitrage helped you at Academy? Old Men Gaming, it has not. I think that's mostly... tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's mostly for online arbitrage, and I don't do really online arbitrage except for stuff that I've already purchased in store, and I know which items those are and which ones have sold a lot for me, so I just kind of search those specific items, and I haven't been willing or wanted to dive into that because I haven't wanted to take the time to do that or needed to. Is this going to be posted on the channel later? Got to log off in a few, unfortunately. Yeah, all of my live streams, I have a playlist for them, but I was planning on like taking them down and chopping them up and cutting out all the boring parts, and I might still do that at some point, but I think it's a better use of my time to spend those couple hours actually just editing a new video. So these will all be live in full, and YouTube's going to auto chapter them if you want to check that out later. Hey Matt, good to see you. Have I heard of Ally Bank? Yes, I do use Ally Bank. Heard their savings account has buckets, so essentially you get deposit money in the savings account and then preset a percentage, go to different buckets. I have heard that's the case. I don't use that. I have a couple different savings accounts. I don't really use Ally Bank that much anymore because of a new bank that I'm actually putting a video together on called Yada Bank. You might have heard of it if you, like, I think 8 months ago or something, a lot of people in the personal finance space were talking about it, but because some of them had invested in it. But that bank, I just enjoy it more. It's more fun to me, and for a bunch of reasons why, but Ally is definitely a good bank. Any bank that like gives you upwards of like 0.5% in terms of a annual percentage yield is definitely good. And then the buckets feature is good too. I think Yada Bank has bucket features as well. I'll make sure to include that in my video if it does. But there are a lot of those places that do now who have buckets for that. But I do like Ally Bank. Their customer service is good as well. At least it has been to me. Cool. So let's continue down on the stuff we got going on here and see what we're looking like. Oh, I totally forgot that I was going to just pick it up. I apologize. Also, what's really sad is you see how that light, even though it's farther away, is so much brighter than this light. It's because that light, I bought like a special bulb for it, and I take it outside to work on my van when I'm working on it at night, which is kind of chilling over there. And I dropped it, and so I had two of them. Now I only have one of them, so that sucks. Okay, I think we were at sales, maybe? So sales is going to be the total amount that Amazon has collected, or what they collect over any given period of time. And that's going to be inclusive of pretty much everything except for your pending orders. When I get this question sometimes, especially from new sellers, but when you order stuff when a customer orders something, if they've paid for it, but Amazon hasn't shipped it out yet, then it's going to still be in your pending orders until Amazon actually fulfills that order, and then it'll move into your sales. And then normally what happens, I believe, at least for me, is that after 7 days, that sales amount will move from your reserve into your net proceeds balance. I'm pretty sure that's how it goes for me. Refunds is going to be net refunds. And this is the first time that we'll kind of dive into this other side. That's because you have refunded expenses and refunded sales. And so the customer is going to get their money back for everything. Obviously, if you've bought stuff on Amazon, you're aware of that. But Amazon's also going to give you back some of your expenses, except you don't get all of your expenses back because they still fulfilled the order, which I think is a little frustrating, but it doesn't not make sense. So it's unfortunate, but you get I don't know if it's most, but you get expenses back. And so you get a net refunds is $213 for me on this time, negative, and because customers got back $243 of their own money, and then $29.61 of expenses were given back to me, and so that's in the income side of things. Oh, excuse me. I bet that was really loud for you guys. I apologize. And then you have all of your expenses that were incurred, which for me were $1,618.06. And that was all money that goes to Amazon, which fun. And then you have your account level reserve. And this is, Amazon says, used to satisfy chargebacks and refunds. And you normally get this 7 days after the customer gets the product, like I said, or at least the date that the customer should get the product. And what I've noticed, at least on my account, is I'll get my reserve balance will just transfer over into my beginning balance, and I'll have a $0 reserve until Amazon starts to fulfill orders the day that I get my payment. And so yesterday, I have a little bit of a reserve balance now, not a lot, but that's just because Amazon has started to fulfill orders. But all of the reserve balance from the sheet right now is mostly in my available balance, except it's not in this part that's available here where I can request payment. So I think they just do that to make you feel better about yourself, because you still can't request payment for it. Then next, we're going to just chat real quick about all of these sides. Let me see. I've seen some pop-ups on the bottom of my screen here real quick. Hey, one quick question. There are some like live stream. I'm currently, wow, I can really speak well today. Right now, I'm just doing lives off my phone with external mic that I bought when I first started my YouTube channel. But would like it be that much better for you guys if I did it on a camera specifically? Like, because I know it only gives 720p, which is technically high definition, but it's really not high definition nowadays. And I could buy a couple of things, probably like. And then also a subscription to a service. And that way, when I'm responding to a question, I can actually click on the question. You guys can see it on the screen. If you're interested in that, just let me know. And if it wouldn't add to your experience at all, let me know that as well. But if it would, that's something that I'm definitely interested in doing more, because I'm nervous to do these live streams, but I really enjoy the process, because if you watch my channel, you know I like to ramble, and I like to talk, and apparently talk really fast according to most people. Yeah, so let me know. Let's see. I think we got a couple more questions. Greg and Frank are chatting. That's cool. Have I heard of rental arbitrage? Off topic. Jay, are you talking about house hacking? In which case, yes, and I am potentially interested in it. Except the way that my life and my wife are going, I don't know if it's something that'll necessarily be in our near future. If that is what you're talking about, because essentially, if you don't know what house hacking is, it's where you buy a property. Normally, either you're single or maybe you have a spouse as well, and you don't care if you live with roommates, and you're able to rent out other parts of the house, to where if you buy a house and your mortgage is $1,500 a month, but you have 2 extra bedrooms and you can rent them both out for $750 a month, you're paying $0 to live there. Obviously, you still have the risk of owning the house, you still have the maintenance to do, but if you're able to kind of factor all that in, you're able to live essentially free or for a really reduced rate. And you can also do this with like a duplex or a triplex, where you live in one of the units and then someone else lives in the other unit, and they pay rent that covers the mortgage and maintenance and all that stuff. You don't like, that's something I don't know if I would want to live necessarily next to my tenant, but I'm definitely interested in potentially getting into real estate later. But the way that my life and my wife is going is we're going to live in the van for at least a year, thinking maybe 2 or 3 years. And then after that, we might do a lot of international travel. A lot of that depends on where this other YouTube channel goes that we're going to be launching here pretty soon. I'm really daunted by how much editing and time on the computer I'm going to be doing. But yeah, that's a great question. Definitely off topic though, but I appreciate it. Any off topic questions are totally fair game too. I'll be here as long as you guys let me. I'm trying to cap it at 2 hours. Oh, crap. Oh no, I'll just start it at 7:30. Never mind. I said that because if you watched my video yesterday, not a lot of people watched my video that I posted yesterday. I thought it was a pretty good video. My wife thought it was a good video, but you can watch it if you want. It's about how my plan to stop burnout, which is something that I've been like feeling a lot. And so that plan essentially is that I'm gonna work 40 hours a week. I'm committing to that through September, especially because our van right now, we don't even have the floor, and we got like the fan and some stuff, but we want to potentially move into it September 18th instead of the middle of October, because that way we get an extra month of spending in the Northeast, because my friend has a wedding in Cleveland, where I'm from, on September 18th. And so it'd be cool if we could just drive the van up there instead of having to first buy a plane ticket to fly up there, but then we could just like watch the colors change and go through Maine and eat all the food throughout that part, because we're going to be in the Southwest and the West, hopefully for a lot of the year, and potentially Mexico as well for a lot of the winter. Wow, I feel like I'm really off topic. What? I'm really apologize. If I was like on, international travel, I have no idea. Oh, the video yesterday, 40 hours. Oh, the reason that I freaked out. I'm so sorry. But the reason I freaked out was because I forgot to start my stopwatch. And that's how I'm keeping myself accountable, is I'm like literally clocking in and clocking out from work. And that's because, especially for me, having worked in customer service and like had that clock in, clock out time as sacred, because I worked at some places who didn't necessarily respect my labor laws, and I really fought for them. That's something that like ingrained in me as a worker, is something that helps me create those boundaries, which is something I've been really bad at as someone who works for myself now. And normally when I would clock off, I would go to do work for myself. And now when I clock off, I can just like make some food or enjoy myself or work on the van. And so that's something I'm trying to do to avoid burnout. It's been good for me. So all of that like couple-minute ramble that you didn't have to sit through was to say that I started this at 7:30, so I'm just gonna add that time to whatever my stopwatch was earlier. Okay, sorry. Old Man Gaming. Yeah, you're only in your 3rd month, and my videos have helped. Thank you. Trying to stay off my listings. I mean, if you need to sell something that's on my like, that's one of the things too, is I'm sharing a lot of my stuff, and I'm sure that if someone wants to go back through my videos, they can pull pretty much all my products just because of like the time lapses that I have and whatnot. And like that's a part of that seems scary, but first off, like a lot of people won't necessarily act on that information, but at the same time, like if it's gonna help you in your business, like that's fine. I'm trying to diversify my income, which is something we'll talk about, and to the point where hopefully like very soon, I'm releasing a video next week, I think. I keep saying that, but on how much I made on YouTube my first month, and like if my channel keeps growing steadily, like it's not something that I'll have to worry about. So if you're worried about like staying off my listings for my sake, don't worry about that. If you plan to go full streamer, then yes. Yeah, Frank, that's a good point. I think my thought right now is every other week we'll do a live stream. Next week we're gonna have one. It'll probably be shorter just because we have to announce the giveaway winner. But thanks. Yeah, I do talk fast, for sure. Leasing a house or renting and subleasing on Airbnb. Yeah, Jay, that's one of the things. My wife is pretty interested in doing Airbnb or something like that, so that's something that we might get into soon. Renting house or apartment and listing it as a STR. I do not know what an STR is, Frank. I apologize. Where will I work in the van? A lot of that's going to be YouTube. I'm hoping that over the next month or two, YouTube's at a point where it can cover a lot of our expenses. Carissa will have a part-time remote job, and she also has a client who pays a decent bit. And then I'm also planning on continuing Amazon, and like that'll be a lot of fun content. So I'm definitely not stopping FBA. It's just another source of income, especially because the videos are interesting and they make money online, and then I can also make money from the FBA. And so it's definitely something that I'm going to continue going back to. I think it was Alyssa's question. Apologize if it wasn't, but yeah, that's something that I will be doing, and I'm really interested to see how I'm going to be able to do shipments. I'm thinking about third-party fulfillment centers. Someone mentioned that in the last live stream. I think it was either Jay or Jill. And if it wasn't, I apologize. But yeah, so I'm interested to see what that's gonna look like. But I'm thinking about renting a car, but car rentals are crazy expensive right now, so we'll see. Hey, Space Ape, good to see you. iPhone 12, do you still use it and like it? Yeah, I'm on the iPhone 12 Pro right now. It's very fast. I really like it. I use it less for content creation than I thought, just because my camera is nicer to me. I prefer it has a shallower depth of field and a little bit more dynamic range, which just means that the colors look a little bit more natural. The iPhone is a little more saturated, but yeah, I definitely love the iPhone. It's something good. Do you need to go in debt to get an iPhone? No. Am I glad that I did? And is my business paying for it? Yes. So it's not a big deal. Is there a way to list FBM inventory on Inventory Lab? I'm pretty sure I have not. If you go, let me see if I can. I'm 99% sure I've seen this. Yes. So let me put something over my computer real quick so you can't see my address. Well, also, someone remind me in like an hour. I have a question for you guys. That's less of like something content related and something like I need help with in my Amazon business. But I want to at least get through all the content that I have at some point too. Let's talk to you guys. But the, let me make sure. Okay. Yeah. So on Inventory Lab, when you create a new batch, right where it says channel FBA, I'm about to click it real quick, and you can do MFN, which I'm pretty sure means that you are going to fulfill it yourself. Man, this phone does not want to pick up that screen very well. Recording the screen is one of the harder things. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can. Is 100% ROI mandatory on a product, or is it my goal? It's my goal. I started out like 50% to 100%. And as we'll get to here, I don't earn 100% on my products. It's just what I want to pick up, because then there's room for repricing down. But that is definitely my goal, especially on new products. And that's mostly my goal because I need to pay myself, and I don't have unlimited inventory money. If I didn't have any inventory debt, or I had an inventory surplus, this is one of the things I've kind of mentioned in a couple of videos. I don't know if anyone else has understood it when I say it, but essentially it's like if I have unlimited inventory money, I would buy this, which is essentially saying like if I have an extra couple of grand that I can just use to pay off inventory, if it's a bad purchase, or I can liquidate it and lose a little bit of money, potentially, like that's fine. But a lot of things I'll see that make 30%, or that's not what I meant. I apologize. Like there's a lot of things that I'll see that make 30%, but they have like a 10,000 rank. So really, really good rank in sports and outdoors is what I'm talking about mostly, or some other things, but they have a really, really good rank, but they only make like 20 or 30%, but that 20 or 30% might still be $5, but I'm not willing to spend $20 to make $5 back. But in the future, which hopefully I would like to get to, as hopefully YouTube starts to pay me more and I'm able to take a lot of basically like I was working at my old job and just use everything to pay off inventory debt and operating expenses, obviously, because you still have to pay for that, which is what we'll get to too. But that is something that I hopefully will be able to do, and just create that little bit of a surplus in that business, so that business completely pays off everything, have a little bit extra money, and then I can spend those $20 to make $5, or maybe like $40 to make $10 or $15, even though that's only still like 30 or 40%. And so that's something that, especially starting out, trying to build capital quickly, I'm looking for, because I have really limited capital, or limited credit in this case, but I treat it more like capital because I don't want to go over budget seriously. But there are some things that if I've purchased them before, like there are some things that I sell a lot of, where if I purchase 10 of them and they all sell out in like 2 weeks, but they got repriced down to only make me 40%, that's something that's a proven product now. So I'm more willing to pick it up and still sell it, because that's not money that I'm necessarily risking not getting back. It's money that, yeah, I'm not making as much as I maybe could, but it's pretty much a guaranteed sale. And so that's where that is. Oh, short-term rental, Frank. That makes a lot of sense. Thanks for telling me. When do you get to see me play soccer? Gosh, I don't know. It's one of the hard things that the way that YouTube videos work is you're really trying to deliver something in a way that makes sense. And so I try to kind of weave in a lot of my personality and things that I enjoy. And so my toe is still a little purple because I had broke it. And so I'm finally getting back this week. I played soccer a couple times just by myself. And that's something I'll work into a bunch of videos, because I like it, but it's not something that you don't necessarily see a lot of. Maybe I'll post some stuff on Instagram, but yeah. Just Googled it, Frank. Cool. What strategy do I use in Be Cool? Is it Abraham? Is that your name? I'm sorry if it is not, but yeah, the strategy that I use personally for most of my items, I just use the one that sells them out the fastest. Let me see. I think it's called Sales Maximizer. They just changed it, so now I shouldn't say like they just changed it like I don't know what I was talking about, because I had it for like a week before they changed it, but they changed it now to where it's Sales Maximizer, Sales Maximizer, which is the most aggressive repricing, where it's essentially, it says 1-star repricing for profit, and the rest like high volume. Oh no, repricing rules over here. And then the next one is Sales Booster, which is 2 stars for profit and 4 stars. Look, this is so much better than me trying to mumble through this. But you have please work. Okay. I'm not touching anything. Man, it is not focusing. Okay, I apologize. It says Sales Maximizer, and then Sales Booster, this AI Equalizer, Profit Booster, Profit Maximizer, and the stars are representative of sales and profit. And so Maximizer tries to get you the most sales with the least profit. Profit Maximizer will try to get you the most profit with the least amount of sales. And the way that instead of trying, and I want it to just try to sell it for me. And so I've been selling a lot of stuff like a little bit lower price, which I'm more comfortable with because I want to get my money back so that I can re-spend it. Personally right now, when we move into the van, if I'm not able to resell as much as I want, I'll probably change that a little bit, but especially since I still need to pay myself and I haven't been going out reselling a lot over the past month and a half, I've changed everything to Sales Maximizer, which has sold me out of is in the process of selling me out of a lot of items that had just been sitting on Amazon for a while. But the other thing that's really important with that is I make sure to set my minimum prices to a point that I'm comfortable with making money or like at a break even or lose. I set those really intentionally. That way, if it does race to the bottom is still me making 50%, and I'm really comfortable with that. But I potentially will change that. I have one of them set to Equalizer now, a couple of them set to Booster, just depending on if there's like a little bit of competition, but I'm able to get a couple different prices on an item. That's how I change it around. And if you're interested in Be Cool, the special, I already talked about that, but there's some new people here, but there's a link down in the description for a special free trial. It's a 30-day free trial instead of 14, and you get upgraded to all AI. I also made a rule that I have in there, and in my first Be Cool video, which you can find on my channel, that's where that rule is made if you need help with that. But also Fields of Profit, he helped me to set them up just with his videos. But yeah. Ibrahim made $1,500 in sales and have $1,200 in reserve from the sales. Will I ever see that money? Absolutely. Normally what happens is that $1,200 for me, when you get your first payout, will come and become present balance. But when I first started selling, I think it would only take a portion of that. And so you'll absolutely see that money. It just is kind of one of the ruling features that you kind of have to work into selling on Amazon for most people, not for Greg, because Greg's a beast and he started early. So I think it was Greg. So yeah, Greg doesn't have a reserve. Yeah. But yeah, you and I have a reserve, and that's okay. And yeah, Amazon loves a nice steady ramp up in sales. Yeah, Frank, that is something that would definitely be an advantage, is the screen share plus camera. One of the reasons why you've probably seen in my videos that I've been more so like holding the camera and showing the screen, and why I'm a little bit more comfortable doing that here as well, is because of like redacting information. When I'm in the edit, I used to do screen recordings, and the majority of my time editing videos would actually be redacting information that I couldn't have you see. And there was even one video I reposted because I had left my address in it for a little bit and forgot, and someone called me out on it. But yeah, for sure, sharing the screen is great, and that's one of the things where I can just like take a screenshot and redact it in the moment. Ryan, what's going on? Quick question. How do I properly set up sales tax setting on Amazon? I'm not asking for legal advice, just my take on what works best for me. My sales tax settings, I have 100% marketplace facilitator tax. I'm not sure. I'm essentially with sales tax, you have to pay taxes in any state that you have, like where there's a specific word there's a sales taxy word for it, but you have to pay taxes in any state that has that you have like any sort of business in, for the people buying stuff, for the where there are fulfillment centers, where you're located, all those different places. Oh, it's called Nexus, maybe? Yeah, Ryan. Dang, I got it just as you said it, but I'll give you credit for that one. You knew it was coming. But yeah, I'm pretty sure most places now, though, most third-party selling companies like eBay, Amazon, they have a marketplace facilitator tax, and now everything just runs through that for the most part. And so I don't necessarily, and I looked at this too. Specifically, this is the inventory labs breakdown that I have. But if we look at this, if you can see that, this is the marketplace facilitator tax and refunds, and it all equals out, the positives and negatives, because they take all that tax and deal with it for me. I'm not sure if there are some places that you don't have to do that, but I personally haven't had to deal with that. All of my sales tax has been taking place that way on both eBay and Amazon. Yeah. Nathan, how to do QuickBooks video. Oof. I'm not great at QuickBooks. There was, honestly, the guy who really helped me out, let me find him. I actually use his affiliate link because it's 50% off for a year on QuickBooks. Let me see. I can just look him up. I bet I can find him. Pretty sure he's a CPA, QuickBooks guy. I just searched QuickBooks guy on YouTube. Let me see. He's probably one of the first people who comes up. Let me see. Yeah, Hector Garcia, CPA. I'm gonna link to his oh no, I just pulled up the perfect video actually. The QuickBooks Online 2021 complete tutorial. I signed up for like the QuickBooks affiliate program at some point, but don't just use his link, because his link is gonna be way better than my link if you want to do it. I just put a link to his video in the chat, and he helped me set up everything pretty much, especially when figuring out like how to do your chart of accounts and all that jazz. Definitely do that. Ooh, Ryan, they haven't passed laws to make the marketplace facilitator remit to Missouri. That's really annoying. But hopefully that works out. Yeah, Frank, I'm in Florida as well. Oh, interesting. You just give them the resale tax ID. Cool. Okay, let's get back to this real quick. I see a lot of people have left probably because we're not chatting about this. But what we have going on here... Oh, it's probably still zoomed in. Yep, that's lame. So on this side, we have this other part of this. I haven't really looked into a lot of this before I actually came into to make this video. It does not look very crisp. Does it look good to you guys? It looks very... Let's see if I put it on the ground. Maybe that'll work. Not on the ground, but on my desk. I think it's because there's bad lighting where it was, because I was holding it up against the light. No, it still doesn't look good. What the heck? Okay. I'm just going to hold the light straight over it. Maybe that'll help. Product charge. Nope, does not help at all. Wow, that is not fun. I apologize. I thought this would work better. Product charges. Maybe if I just hold this one up. Okay. Yeah, at least you don't have to see my crap. Product charges. $3,070.26. Oh, that's a different one. Wow, I'm really good at this today. So this $3,653.55 is going to be my price for items getting sold on Amazon. So normally whatever my price gets repriced to, that's what it's going to sell for, and that's what the product charges are. Oh, I think it looks better on your screen than it does on mine. Yeah, it looks way better on your screen than it does on my phone. That's really weird. Shipping is also going to be collected in the positive side of sales. And then other expenses, I looked into that a little bit more, and it looks like it's reimbursements, and then like gift wrapping and stuff like that is going to be an other. There might be some other things that you guys might know about. And then refunded expenses is $29.61. And those we've already talked about. And then on the bottom side of that, for expenses, I had to look into this a little bit to figure out exactly what all of these were. Promo rebates are kind of just what they sound like. If there's a promotion that's run on your items, those are going to be deducted from you, like any coupons or stuff that you might clip on Amazon. And then FBA fees versus Amazon fees. These kind of might not necessarily make a lot of sense as to why they're different, but I looked it up. Here's some chicken scratch about it. Hopefully this makes a little bit of sense, but let me explain it. So for FBA fees, I was like, oh, this is your selling monthly fee and storage fees. That's what I thought. It's not. It's actually your storage removal fees. So if you get stuff sent back to you, or if you have to get it sent back to you because a customer damages it or something, inbound shipping charges, and then it looks like, I think that's it. That was it for me. Oh, wait, no, I had it over here on Inventory Lab. There's one more thing. It was also FBA fees, removal order, inbound shipping, and refund. Nope. 30-day storage fees. Yeah, storage fees, removal order fees, and inbound shipping fees. So those are things that all only have to do with Amazon FBA. You don't have storage fees if you do FBM. You don't have removal order fees if you do FBM. You don't have inbound shipping if you do FBM. Everything else, though, is going to be Amazon fees. And then that is going to consist of pretty much everything else. So products that get shipped out, the pick and pack fees, the Amazon, like the FBA, like order fees or whatever they call it. I forget what they call it. And then plus your $39.99 subscription if you're a pro seller. And if you don't know what that is and you're selling more than 40 items a month, please be a pro seller. And then at the very bottom here, you can actually look at every single transaction for this period. And this is sometimes useful if you want to make sure that something was reimbursed. You can see every single transaction down here. I opened this up and I was going to print something out. And then I looked and it was actually, 863 pages of items. So I didn't print anything out. Yeah. 6,000 in Amazon fees in the last 2 weeks, Zachary, is brutal. It's one of those things where like I hate it, but I also like I don't appreciate it at all, obviously. But I know that if I didn't have those fees, I would be having to do all of that work myself, and I'd rather pay them the fees, especially because I just kind of work that into my buy cost, I guess, because all the scouting apps that we use work that into that for you. So that stinks. There's a couple things on Inventory Lab. Yeah, Ryan, fat fees. That I picked out my Amazon stuff for these same 2 weeks. It doesn't match exactly with Amazon because Amazon, I don't know exactly why, but I think it's because that is like yesterday was the 10th and I got my payment on the 10th. And so maybe this only includes stuff up through that, but then Inventory Lab includes through the end of the 10th. That might be why it's a little bit different, but we're getting into that here. Hey, Celestial McKenzie, good to see you. So, down here, interesting. So one of the things I just noticed on the chat, oh, this is going to be trippy. I apologize. But it had me actually approve messages. So if there's like, I don't mind too much with like, especially soft cuss words, but just if you're going to be sending something through, just be mindful of that. I have it set to like me approving stuff. I don't mind normally too much, but just be mindful of that. So, and if you don't see it come up immediately, that's why. Income. This is my profit and loss, quote unquote. But it shows like, as you can see, like the sales numbers are different. 3939 instead of 3,700 or whatever it was over here. 3,653. But the interesting things are the cost of goods sold over this period are $1,479.63. And so the net profit was $720.84. And then this is kind of, we already got into this, but this is how Amazon deals with sales tax, is the marketplace facilitator tax. And then down here is just, I kind of wrote this out a little bit, is kind of my needs for my business and how much I need it to make for me in terms of profit numbers. So this was $720.84, and that's not great. Like normally I prefer it to be higher, obviously, but I only need $1,050 a month of income, and then $220 to operate my business, which is $120 for all my fees for like subscriptions and stuff like that. And then I like to have a $100 cushion for things like shipping stuff out, saving to buy a thermal printer so that you guys don't yell at me as much in the comments whenever I do shipment videos. I deserve it, but I still get shamed every time I do that. Oh, Zach, no need to apologize, man. Yeah, Zach. I guess that's what I'm good for, is the nitty gritty. Yeah, and that's something interesting too. Zach said that like I learned so much stuff about the nitty gritty things from you. I just know about the big stuff mostly, and like I appreciate that's the case. But there are a lot of people, like even just in this chat, who do a lot more on Amazon than I do, and so like if I'm saying something that's not true, let me know. And I'm definitely not claiming to be the expert, especially because it's something that I have to ask you guys about later. But I just want to share my experience and how like. I'm not the expert, but this has helped me to leave my job. And so I feel like that's a little credence to allow me to make these videos. But at the same time, I'm definitely not the expert. So these are kind of the overall numbers from everything. We have sales. Is this backwards? Let me I'm going to wait. I'm just going to vamp real quick while I wait for this to come up on the screen because of the 15-second delay, just to make sure it's not backwards. Because if it's backwards, I'm going to be really embarrassed. And it's not backwards. Great. So the sales are $3,730.68, and which is $266.45 per day. And so if you're selling that much or more, you're selling that much or more than me, at least over this 2-week period. And then my returns were $213.59, which is like a 5.7% return rate, just compared to like dollar amounts. And that's way more than it normally is. Normally it's like 1.5 to 2.5 to 3% of a return rate. And so just because of that, some of these numbers that are a little bit lower than they would otherwise be would kind of be back to semi-normal for me. My cost of goods, which we pulled from Inventory Labs, is $1,479.63. And then my profit is $720.84, which we just said as well. So that means my return on investment is only 48.76%. I think it's a 6. I'm reading it backwards on the screen. But yes, or 70, no, it's a 72%. And that is according to Inventory Labs what those numbers are. And so that kind of goes back to the question. Oh, man, I apologize. I forgot who asked the question. Just a little J, maybe? Maybe? I can't find it. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that 48% goes back to the point where I'm not actually making 100% return on investment on a lot of my items. I am on a lot of them, but at the same time, like the items that I sell a lot of, that I sell for less, that I know I can sell, kind of bring that down. But a lot of items just get repriced down because, especially when I'm buying stuff at like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, a lot of other resellers are buying the same items, and so that just means that the price is going to move because there's more supply and the demand is probably going to be the same, and so that's going to drop the price. And so sometimes I'm getting better at this. I'm waiting out those prices for the higher prices, but I'm also not very, very good at that. And then, so my profit margin is only 19.32%, which is also called profit percentage in Inventory Lab, which it would have been about 50% return on investment and about 21 to 23% if I had normal, or for my profit margin, if I had normal refunds. And I looked at it a little bit, and it's because I had an $80 backpack that was refunded and a $10 item which was refunded, except the reason for the refund was not delivered on time, which is very frustrating. But Amazon should theoretically, and when I've checked they always have, but you should also double check, they should give me that money back in 45 days because that's a fulfillment issue, and so they'll reimburse that back to me. So I'll probably get back like $55 or $60 because they'll still take their fees out of that. But that's just a little bit of a pain in the butt. I got a couple more questions that we'll snag. So get a Rolo, Ryan says. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one would be good. I also need to look at like electricity usage because I'm building an electrical system for our van. I need to figure out which one might be good for that. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out which one would be able to be stored in the van. Hey, Tavia, good to see you. Aura repricer works better for you. I tried Be Cool and Aura. Aura sell more with higher margin. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely I'm not gonna push Aura because part of like the thing is I like Be Cool and I use Be Cool, but in order to give you guys that better deal, I have to only talk about Be Cool. But like that doesn't mean like they're not paying me anything to do it. And so if something better comes along and I try it out, I'll definitely let you guys know about it. I'm not like only a Be Cool dude because of that. How many months did it take you to build up your sales to be able to support your living cost? So Ryan, that's a great question. In terms of like living cost overall, like I'm still not there yet, obviously. But in terms of what I needed in order to survive in the financial place that we were at, it only took me it took me like 3 months ish, because I only need to pay myself around $1,000 a month, and that's I only like you saw I only need to take out $1,050 per month out of this business, and the reason for that is because my wife has a job still full time, and we live very, very frugally, and so our expenses overall, even though we're living in Orlando, even though we have $1,250 rent, are right around $3,000. Let me find out exactly what they are for you. I'll show you. Our expenses every month. Oh, well, there's all my emails. Sorry about that. Every month, our expenses are, if it'll pull up, $3,354, just because we match our income to our expenses. So $3,300 are our expenses. And my wife makes around $2,300. So obviously we're not making a lot of money, but we're okay with that now because when I was making more money working at the bank, where I was making like $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 take home. When I was a manager at an enterprise and an MT at an enterprise, and then I worked at a bank. And so I used all that money to invest and save, which is something that I haven't gotten into as much on the channel as I would necessarily like. But because of that, I had an emergency fund. So we had 3 months of our expenses saved up, and I knew that we were investing about $1,000 a month and trying to keep it that way. And so if we were able to, I was able to leave my job because I only needed to take home $1,000. And I got to the point where I was able to do that. And because I only wanted to leave my job so that I can build my YouTube channel and other businesses and like potentially build reselling, but that wasn't the main goal, I kind of stayed consistently at that level where I'm comfortable with. And so that is hopefully the answer to that question. How long have we been on Amazon so far? Or am I getting toys? Zachary, I've been on Amazon since September of last year. And I just checked And I am ungated in toys. That's the last video that I posted 2 weeks ago now, I think. And I was at Walmart, which is cool. So when I go out later this week and next week, I'm gonna be checking on that. And then it does definitely depend on capital in the answer to Ryan's question that you have there, for sure. But I had for 2 months now, just broke 2K in sales. Definitely forecasted to do 1,500 this month. That's awesome. Slowly but surely increasing my sales velocity. One of the videos that I have, I think. Let me pull it real quick. I talked about it. It was only one of the parts of the video. I think it was the third part of this video. You can watch the whole video. You can watch the third part. You can watch none of it. Doesn't matter. But I talked about understanding the numbers in your business. And there are a couple of very specific Amazon numbers, and I'm interested, if you guys are interested in making potentially a different video that's very specific to Amazon on how to deal with your money. We're getting into that a little bit here, but a couple numbers to understand are like your profit percentage and your payout percentage. And so in terms of your overall Amazon sales, how much you get paid out from that, and then in terms of your payout, how much is actually profit, which means it doesn't have to go back towards inventory, which is the money that you're going to use to operate your business and pay yourself and plan for the future. And so understanding how much you need and then seeing how much of your Amazon payouts or how much of your Amazon sales on average are payouts and then how much of that on average is profit will help you to figure out how much you need to sell on a daily basis or a weekly basis to see how much you actually need in order to hit the goals that you want to do. And so if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll try to put something like that together. I talk about it on like the third part of that video, and then I also have a numbers video that's on the channel. It just says like know your numbers if you want to check that out as well. I think I linked it earlier, but yeah. Go broke around Christmas happens to all of us. Yikes. My year-to-date sales so far, not sure if I've answered that, Elijah. I haven't answered that yet, and I'm not answering that yet because I'm coming out with a video hopefully in the next couple of weeks. I'm about to hit a specific milestone. If you've looked at this, you can probably think what my milestone is in terms of overall sales, but that will be coming out over the next week or two. Doing any entrepreneurial endeavor requires a spouse or partner that is 100% supportive. Yeah, luckily my wife is literally the best ever, so definitely think that that's a really important thing, and especially like just to be on the same page about what those goals are and the communications about that. I'm gonna put in my video link idea thing over here that Tavia wants that video, so we'll definitely do that. I cannot find my to-dos. There we go. Video on Amazon sales numbers. Rakeen, what's going on? A little late. It's never too late. Ran off a low limit credit card and well-funded bank account that I had to keep paying off. Yeah, Frank, Christmas is good stuff. Hopefully that is good for everybody. Normally, spending that much means you're going to make a lot more. So just being prepared for that. I've had that question a lot of like, what are my Q4 plans? And I don't have a ton of Q4 plans because I'm not trying to like make the most money possible. And so I don't have a lot of like plans for that. I'm just trying to sustain, and Q4 normally just helps me sustain and build a little bit more towards the future. It's probably bad. I should probably have a better plan for it, but I don't. And so that's kind of where that is. Rakeen, be careful, bro. Hopefully your boss isn't as crazy as my boss was when I was working, because I would have gotten yelled at for like weeks for that, which is part of the problem. It's like, yell at me one time, not for weeks. Joanna, welcome back. Okay, let's get to the next part of this, which is essentially breaking down what to actually do with this money, because you're going to get that payout. But once you get the payout of, for me, it was $1,700 plus the other $3 of invoiced orders, you actually have to start allocating that money. And a part of that is understanding, if you go back and watch that other video, I do have like a very rudimentary breakdown. The one that I just linked up above is, I'll talk a little bit about how to calculate those different things for like your percentage of pay, like your payout percentage and your profit percentage, and how those kind of work together a little bit. But we're not going to assume that you know how to do that. We're just going to tell you how I do that in my business because of the numbers that I've broken down and understand in my business. So there are a couple things that every single business needs to do. First, it needs to pay the shareholders. I'm going to move this over here. Like in any business, that's why like if you own stock, you're a shareholder, and so you get paid with dividends normally. And if you own your business, then a lot of times you're going to get paid as distributions, or you're going to get paid as salary, especially if you're an S corporation, which is something that eventually, if you start making a lot of profit, like probably upwards of $60,000 to $80,000 a year, you're going to probably want to move from an LLC to an S corporation just for tax purposes. Not tax advice, but normally you'll pay less in self-employment tax, and that will be enough in order to do that, because you still have to pay yourself a salary. But if you take a salary of $40,000 a year and then you take distributions for another $5,000 or $10,000, then that's not going to look weird. If you take a $10,000 salary and a $70,000 a year distributions, that's illegal to the IRS because you need to take a reasonable salary. But that is something you need to pay the shareholders. You need to pay the operator or the manager, which normally you're both of those things. If it's just a single person LLC, or me and my wife are just a partnership, we do everything completely joint though, so it kind of feels the same, but it's technically an LLC tax as a partnership because we're 50-50 owners in all of our businesses, and it's just one business structure. Then you need to pay to operate the business, you need to pay taxes. I don't know why I put that green. I should have changed green and red here. And then pay to plan for the future, question mark here, because I'm not necessarily doing that in my business right now, but we'll get to that. And then, yeah. So, we have the profit, which, whatever. So profit for me is right now 0.1%. A lot of this is from like a method called Profit First, which I think is from Patrick Hanlon's book. Ryan, thank you for the super chat, man. Appreciate you being here. Sorry you got to hop out, but yeah, hopefully this was helpful for you. Thank you so much. Profit for me is 0.1%. And that's just because I want to pay myself no matter what. And so what that equates to in this payout is $1.75, which is right here. And so that's not a lot, but I'll get like $3.50 every single month that I'm doing this, which is enough to buy coffee or something. And this is just to reward yourself for owning the business. It's not something that you have to do, but it's just kind of nice to know that your business is profitable and it's paying you something just for owning the business, not for doing any work, and you're just getting paid for owning the business, which is kind of a cool feeling to have, but it's also just a feeling. So if you don't need to feel that feeling, then don't worry about that. Next, owner pay is the account that I have for paying the manager or the owner. You could have an employee account, which would technically be under operating expenses, but owner pay is what I have for the work that I do in the business, not for owning the business. For me right now, that's 25%. Oh, that's some nice tape. Up to nice tape linked in the description. Up to $1,050 every single month, and I'll show you guys a screenshot of how I actually break this down. But I have this owner pay of 25% up to $1,050 per month. So I need to make around $4,200 in terms of payouts from Amazon, which for me, since I normally get paid out around 50 or 42-ish to 50% of my overall sales, means that I need to make anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 in overall sales over the course of the month, which averages out to about $260 at a minimum. And so knowing those numbers is really helpful for me, because then it's oh crap, I have not been selling well, and I can see maybe one week I'm only averaging $180 a day because I haven't sent in a shipment, and the next week I'm averaging $350 or $400, and it's okay, I'm fine because I know my numbers and I don't have to necessarily stress out about it. But after that, you have taxes, and taxes is what you're going to need to pay as a percentage of your profit and owner pay. For me right now, that is set at a nice that says 5.2%, and that's because right now, and not necessarily what I recommend, but right now, wow, that's a really good. Oh my gosh, I'm just destroying everything. Right now, it's 20% of these two. Here, let's head over to the other place real quick. And I'm going to miss a couple of messages probably for now, but let's go ahead. And I want to talk a little bit about how I kind of came to that percentage and why 20% is probably enough for me. So right now, I am, obviously because we don't make a lot of money. Tax brackets are how you're going to pay income tax. And I don't have them memorized off the top of my head right now, to be honest. I really probably should just pull them up. But yeah, I'll just pull them up real quick. All right, so you have your top line income up here. And let's just say, so my wife's salary is $30,000 a year. She makes around $10,000 a year from her business. And so 30K salary. And then we have 10K Carissa business. And then my Amazon, in terms of, this is after all expenses. So this is profit plus owner pay, because those are the things you're gonna have to pay taxes on. And so that ends up being, for my Amazon business, if we look at it, we'll just say $2,000 a month. Is it really? No, it's not, because I have a lot of operating expenses. That's how much in terms of like profit. That's gross profit. My net profit probably is gonna end up being anywhere from, we'll just say $15,000. We'll say $150 a month. So 15K. And then we won't even worry about YouTube. So we have 25K plus 30K equals, I did not need to do that calculation, but it's $55,000. And so from that, because we're married and we do joint taxes, we're gonna have to subtract the standard deduction. We don't have enough expenses to itemize our deductions. Those are the two ways that you can do, lower your tax amount. If you have like a lot of charitable contributions or a lot of traditional 401k or IRA contributions that amount to more than the standard deduction, you can itemize. But there are a couple of things that we can do before this, but just for the sake of simplicity, the standard deduction right now, I'm pretty sure, is $24,800 or $12,400 if you're single, and then if you're head of household, it's like $1,800 and something. Let me just make sure. Tax rates 2021. Okay. Standard deduction. Oh my gosh, wow, it's more than that. It's $25,100. So minus 25, we'll just say 25K for simplicity. And so that means we only have to pay taxes on $30,000 of income, not on $55,000 of income, because of the standard deduction. So out of that $30,000, then we're gonna have to pay the not only income tax, which for the first $19,900, we'll just say 20K because we missed $100 here, so it's pretty much just being back added in here. It's 10%. So 20K at 10%, and then the last $10,000 is in the next tax bracket, which is the 12% tax bracket. So we don't have to pay a ton in taxes. And so that means that our overall taxes are 2K plus 1.2K. So 3.2K out of 55,000, because that's our total take-home pay before the standard deduction, which means that our effective tax rate of income tax, 3.2 out of 55, is only, we'll just say, we'll round up to 6%. So we pay 6% in income tax based on these numbers. But on top of that, you have a self-employment tax. And so you don't have to pay that on the salary because it's just your FICA tax, which pays for Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, I think that's it, which is 7.625, we'll just say 7.65% per party. And that the two parties are for the owner and also, or the business, not the owner, the business, and for the employee. So the employer and the employee both pay a half. But if you work for yourself, this is what you hear called self-employment tax. You have to pay both parts of this. So you pay 15.3%. So if we have 6% plus 15.3%, then we're at right around 21.3% in taxes. And so that's why I'm right now comfortable paying 20% in taxes, which is the owner pay plus the profit. And then you have the taxes here. There's other deductions that we're going to be able to take out of things. But if we just say 21.3%, the reason I'm comfortable with 20%, which is lower, and I would never go lower, except for the fact that for the first half of the year, I've been taking 40% of everything. And so just because of that, if we just do this for the last half of the year and make the same amount of money, then we'll be at 30%. And we still pay, I think, 20 to 25% out of Carissa's business. And then out of YouTube, we're going to be taking 30 to 35%. And so very comfortable. Like, our tax account is pretty fat right now, like way more than it needs to be. And so all of those numbers just kind of combine to be why that is the reason for that. Hopefully that didn't confuse people too much. I'm going to be able to see your comments here in a second, but let's head back over to the other spat. And if we need another breakdown, we can go back there. So that's why we're at 5.2% overall, because 0.1%, this is too low, 0.1% plus 25% is 25.1 times 0.2 is equal to 5.2%. So that's why that is the tax amount overall. And yeah. I'll get to something else about taxes and how that amount might change in a little bit. And then in terms of, it's not changing, but the calculation for it changes a tiny bit as this actually comes into fruition, the $1,050 total. Next, we have retained earnings, which right now, my retained earnings allocation, which is kind of how I talk about all these, is 0%, like we talked about. That's because my goal for this quarter, instead of getting money to build out the van, even though we might need a tiny bit more, we're pretty much right where we need to be in order to buy everything, in order to build out our van to a very comfortable position to be. And some of the YouTube money that I'm making is going towards that instead. And so right now I'm focusing on paying off all my inventory debt, which is something we talked about earlier in the stream. And then for operating expenses here, I do 4.7% of overall sales, which is up to total payout, up to $220 per month, which is, like I said a little bit ago, probably a while ago now, $120 per month are my subscriptions, everything I need to pay for to source and like reprice and everything. And then another $100 on top of that is for just a cushion for like anything that I need to buy to ship stuff out, and then saving money in order to buy thermal printers so I stop getting yelled at, like I've talked about a second ago. I don't feel like you guys are yelling at me. It's for my good, but I'm not doing it. And then another part of operating expenses that's specific to Amazon FBA is the inventory account. Now this is where you need to understand like how much profit percentage you have out of your total sales to get to these numbers. Mine is normally, it used to actually be a lower amount that I needed to pay for inventory. And then I ran the numbers today and like got a little bit anxious and like had a lot of imposter syndrome. Especially, I feel a lot of imposter syndrome whenever I talk about FBA, because a lot of other people who do it like just show bigger numbers than me. But my overall inventory percentage has adjusted upwards, except I've been able to continue gradually paying down that debt at the percentage that I had been at before. But now that I'm trying to pay it off faster, I am allocating 65% of my payouts towards inventory. So that means whenever I get paid out, so the $1,700, let me pull it up. The $1,700 gets allocated like this. We have $1.75 goes to profit, and then $438.67 goes to my owner pay account, which I use to pay myself at the end of every month. Taxes are $91.24. If I'm reading any of these numbers wrong, I apologize. Operating expenses is $82.47. Inventory is $1,140.50 something cents, and retained earnings is $0 right now. Now with Amazon, you have two payouts, and because I'm going up to specific numbers, I'm not having just like percentages for everything. When I reach my threshold for owner pay and for operating expenses, the rest of that money normally goes to retained earnings, except normally it's not a ton because I pretty much am right where I need to be in terms of calculations. Now it's going to be more going towards inventory, especially as we get the van built out. But the way that changed, it just means that I have a second little spreadsheet down here, or actually it's up here, but the second pay, I put a revenue number in, and then this adjusts to where the profit is the same. And then if owner pay hits the threshold, then it'll say just 1,050 minus 438 down here. And then the tax amount is only this plus this times 20% instead of 0.52 overall, because normally the owner pay amount gets hit. Hopefully, otherwise I'm having trouble paying myself, which happened last month because I did not buy much for Amazon, which is a problem. But that is how I pay myself. There's a couple more things that I'm gonna to get into real quick at the bottom here, and these are like kind of a couple of the key takeaways that I have. And it's more so, I just like as a forewarning, I wrote all this stuff while I was like kind of grieving the fact that I didn't make as much as I thought I did on Amazon, or I needed to spend more on fees. And so there's a little bit of like a scared mindset that goes into this, but I do think that it's all true. So some of the major keys for this is, especially if you're wanting to take this more full time, and like leaving a 9 to 5. And these are the main things that I did to do that, are like lowering my lifestyle. I made sure that we were comfortable enough with how much we knew that we needed to make and take home, but not like overly comfortable. Luckily, my wife and I were not like super fancy people, so we didn't need a ton to do that. But lowering your lifestyle is one of the best ways in order to be able to leave your 9 to 5, because like your equation is just how much you make and how much you need to spend every month. And if those two things are equal, or how much you make is higher, that's it. And so you can add more to the make side, or you can lower the how much you need to spend every month side. And we can't really lower how much you need to spend every month side much more right now. So we're just trying to make more, but we did have to lower this a little bit in order to leave my job as fast as possible. And then if you're wanting to use reselling in order to leave your job, like I would really encourage you, if reselling isn't something you're super passionate about, like find something you're passionate about. Maybe that's something that doesn't have any financial or monetary benefit to it, but if you can find something that you're really passionate about or enjoy doing more for work, then you can use reselling as more of a stepping stone into like launching a career, for me, like on YouTube, or doing another type of business that you actually care about, or some type of coaching. Like, I don't know, there are lots of things. And even if that's just like wanting to travel more, like figuring out what that is very helpful for me in terms of knowing how much I actually need to spend time working on Amazon and knowing how much I need to make. And then like the biggest like key for me in this is like just getting your personal finances in order. And it's one of the reasons why I'm going to be making a lot more content on that, because like if you have your personal finances in order and you have your business finances in order, like you're in a really strong position for the rest of your life to make sure that you can not only supply money for yourself, but also like for your family and potentially for legacies. And so that's just a really important thing. And for me, that just meant having an emergency fund. I was investing a lot before, and that's something that I'm really planning on getting back to, hopefully within a year from when I have left my job, which is in November. So hopefully I'm able to invest some soon. But yeah, we haven't been able to invest much yet because we've just been investing in growing our business rather than investing money into the markets in order for our retirement and for our long-term future. But that's definitely something to be aware of. And paying down personal debts is a really big part of that as well. And so like if you have a lot of personal debts that you need to pay off, like that's part of your expenses. And so lowering your lifestyle, lowering your expenses by getting rid of all of those payments is also really helpful. And if you live in a job that, or if you have a job that's not like a super stressful or very toxic environment, that could be a really helpful place just to stay at the job a couple more months than you might necessarily want to, if like you can just work through it, because it'll definitely help you more down the road. And that's something that I've thought about a lot. Hey Carissa.
Hi.
She's home. So if you yeah, that's very helpful. Hey Tavia. Have a great time with your kid. That is definitely more important than this is. And so, yeah. So, and then the last thing is like diversifying your income. And that's something that I'm really working on, especially because like the fickleness of Amazon. The question, I'm about to ask you guys a question. Like I really want some help with this potentially, but, or just having money to blow. Like if you have a lot of capital to spend, you don't really have to worry a lot about diversifying your income. But if you're working on building Amazon as like your main source of income, it can definitely be helpful to have some side hustles, because Amazon can be a very fickle platform, and you never know when you can potentially get kicked off, or like what that might look like. I haven't heard of a lot of stories of people actually being kicked off, but there's a lot of scary tactics that a lot of other people have talked about, and I'm sure some people might know that. But that kind of leads into my next question, which is that like as a pain in, it's just a pain in the butt. But yesterday, maybe, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I got an IP claim on one of my products that I don't think it's actually from the owner of the company. So essentially the email that I received was from Amazon. If you ever got one, it's not just an IP claim, it's a counterfeit claim on some items, which first off doesn't make sense to me. I've gotten this on the same brand before, so part of it is my fault. I'm gonna be putting together a whole video on like all of this and what I do. It's like it could be really helpful if you have any experience with this, but I gotten a counterfeit IP claim for a product. I had gotten a counterfeit IP claim from them before. Amazon looked at all the inventory and said, oh, this is fine, and sent it back to me. They didn't confiscate it or anything. And my listing's didn't get reinstated or anything. But I got, yeah, that, But the email that I got, which is like the most frustrating part, is I think it's from a competing seller because it's not on all of the listings that I have from this brand, but I lowered all those prices so they could sell out and I could just delete those listings. And I might just get rid of it anyways, kind of like how I dealt with Casemate in another video you might have seen on my channel. But the email said, in the contact information, it says like, if you got one of those emails, it says, this is the person's contact information or the company's contact information to reach out to get a retraction or something. And the only contact, the first time I got an email from them, which is the first claims that I got, which were back in March, it didn't have any name or company name or anything. It just had an email address, and the email address was a Gmail domain. And then this one had the same address, again, a Gmail domain, and it did have a name on it, and it was just a lowercase name, no business name, just a 3-letter name. It's like, I'm kind of flabbergasted that like this is something that can happen because I'm able to sell the product. Obviously, just seeing that you're not restricted doesn't mean that you can necessarily sell it, but there's a lot of other people on the listing, and it doesn't seem to have actually come from the brand, and it's just like, I don't understand. If anyone has any experience with that, let me know. I'm going to go through like all the things with Amazon. I'm going to do the appeal. I'm going to, do all of that jazz and actually like try to reach out to the person again, but it's just a pain in the butt that that's happened. My account still says that it's in good standing, like in account health. It has this, if I go into performance account health over here, you can see like the standing is good. But you see these 3 IP claims are all from the same potentially brand, but I think it's just another seller who's being a butt. But it might be the brand, but it wouldn't make any sense for them to have a Gmail domain because it's a big company. Like, it's just a pain in the butt. So if anyone has any experience with that, I would be very interested in hearing from you about it. Otherwise, I'm going to definitely make a video documenting that process. But that's another thing that just gave me a lot of imposter syndrome over this past week. It's like, man, what if my Amazon account gets deleted? Like, will my YouTube channel die? Like, and do I have no authority? Am I just a fraud at that point? And so that's why I really like, if you're here, and you've probably heard me say something similar to this before, like I'm definitely not the expert in all of this stuff. I just want to share my experience because I think it can be helpful even in just commiserating with other people who are having the same struggles. But let's see if we got Frank, 25% in terms of like profit margin is really good. I think I'm averaging I think I've gotten like 25% like 1 or 2 months, but my average is around like 22, 23%, especially as I'm selling like right now. Oh yeah, one of the other things I wanted to say was, and I hinted at this earlier, but the reason that my where is that page? My profit margin percentage was so low at 19.32%. I think a lot of that is because I haven't sent a lot of inventory into Amazon, but I've been repricing a lot of my other stuff that has just been sitting on Amazon forever and hasn't sold. And so I dropped prices on all of that, which is another reason why that's so much lower. If I was sending a lot of new inventory, that number would be much more like my average 23, 24%, but that's just another reason for that. Okay, I think I saw a couple people might have reached out about that. Taxes, not fun, Zachary. No, they are not, but they're essential. Brutal. Boy Rook, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate that. Joanna, that is definitely scary. I hate emails from Amazon. Even like if it's just like, sometimes I'll get like an email from just like the consumer side of Amazon, or I have an Amazon business account. I don't really use it because I have access to an Amazon Prime account. But yeah, every time I get an email from Amazon, it freaks me out. And so I archive almost all of the emails. So that's good because I get less of the emails. But that means when I get an email from them, I know it's not necessarily a good thing. It can be good. Like I have gotten a couple good emails from them, and there's one. They just had an update. We could talk about this in a second too. I'm just gonna put a note. But something that I just realized that I'm gonna be putting a video out, either tomorrow's video or Saturday's video likely, is about an update that Amazon just had that they probably sent you an email about, which didn't necessarily have a title about that. It's something about the A to Z claims, but we'll get into that. So yes, Bryce, good to see you. Rakeen, not getting any reviews. I don't necessarily have any advice for that because I don't ever reach out to customers about that type of stuff. But that might be a way that you can get some reviews. I've been selling, like I've sold a decent amount. If you could probably extrapolate how much my total sales are, but you'll know in about a couple of weeks or so. But I've only got like 39 or 40 reviews, I think. It's not a lot of reviews, honestly. One thing too, though, which I did just get, I don't think I'm gonna make a video about this overall. I'll use this time to talk about it. But I got some feedback. It was a negative review. And negative reviews suck. So I do know that they can definitely affect how much of the buy box you get. And so I'm gonna go to my feedback over here real quick. Oh man. Oh no. So where was it? Yeah, so I got this feedback, and let me see if I can open it up without. Oh, sorry, that is. I was not paying attention to that. I apologize. So I can't. I don't think I can open it up exactly. Let me just read off what it says real quick. Yeah, so essentially it says one of the packs I had. It was a fishing reel cover set. I don't really know exactly what it is. I don't use those when I fish, but he bought 5 of my items, and one of them came with only one of the things in the item, and it's a 2-pack. And I know that I sent it in as a 2-pack. I do also remember that I bought this like way back when, and I did not have very rigorous standards for how good of stuff I sent in to customers. So it might have been that I sent this item in and it was kind of loose in the packaging. They were both there, but it was kind of loose, and I would not do that again. I return all that stuff now, but apparently they only got one of them in one of the packages. And so his feedback said, try going through Amazon, but no results. If I don't hear back, then I will proceed with a review of 1 star, blah, 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 blah. I ended up refunding the guy the 1 order. I think I refunded him like 1.5 orders because he ordered 5 things. Like, it doesn't matter to me. It's just money. But he didn't remove it. And so like just a week ago, I think, and this review was back in June, I was like, I wonder if I can get Amazon to remove this. And so I actually requested for Amazon to remove this, and like my reasoning was it was fulfilled by Amazon, and they actually took responsibility for the review. My message now on the review just says this item was fulfilled by Amazon. We take responsibility for the fulfillment experience. But it was interesting because in their email back to me after I opened the case, they actually said, let me see if I can find exactly what they had said. Yes, okay, so it looks like I have 42 total ratings and reviews, and I only have 1 negative lifetime review. And so I did have 2, which really affected, because at 40, then having 2 negative reviews, or I was at like 38, I was at like 93% or something, maybe 92%. And then I think I had 3 negatives at some point, and then Amazon must have gotten rid of a different one as well. But now that makes me feel much happier, because even though I've sold, I won't tell you the total number of sales. I wonder if I can tell you the total number of items that I've sold though. Let me see. Just year to date, total number of items, or total number of orders, is 4,800 orders, and I only have 42 reviews over the whole past year. And that total number of items ordered, it was probably around. Let me see. I'm gonna do the whole. Yeah, I'm just gonna do 2020 to this. The number of orders. I have 7,477 orders. No way. Looks like I got a video to make. I was waiting on this. But you didn't see that here. That's cool, yeah. So I got 7,400 total orders, and only 42 reviews. So I don't know how to get more reviews. It hasn't really affected my sales all that much, to be honest with you. But the negative reviews potentially would have. Back to that case, though. Essentially, they said that the review, I don't need to read it for you. They said that it was against the policy. I'm not exactly sure what was against the policy. Maybe saying, like, if you don't get back to me, then I'll give you 1 star. That seems like it's maybe against Amazon policy. But there's no hurt in actually trying to do that. All right. Okay, cool. We got some other responses. Thank you so much. Audrey, you have multiple private label brands on Amazon and you use Gmail, so you never know. That is good to know. And that's why I reached out to them one time through my official business email and didn't even get a response. And so I'm definitely going to continue I'm going to go through all the avenues that I can. But yeah, I don't know, but it's just weird to me that they didn't have any business or customer or any business or personal name on the first email, and the second email is just one first name, all lowercase. That seems kind of sketch to me. But yeah, you never know. So that's why I'm going to take it relatively seriously. What about taxes? Cuponeando con Anita said, what about taxes? Do you get a W-2 or something? So from Amazon, you're going to get a 1099 form. And then I use Inventory Labs and kind of cross-check that. with my 1099 when I get it at the end of the year. But they have to report that to the IRS if you sell over a certain threshold, which I don't know off the top of my head because I'm a hack and a fraud. But that will they'll give you that if you sell over a certain threshold, which I think just the threshold just got lowered. And so that is something that you have to worry about. W-2, no, because you're not an employee of Amazon. You're a third-party seller. You're not even a contractor. And so they'll just give you a 1099. And so interestingly, the giveaway that I'm doing with Be Cool is worth $600. If you haven't seen that video, you can check it out. But if it was $600.01, I would have to give the winner a 1099 form because it's over $600, and that's like the threshold, at least for giveaways. I don't know if that's the case for Amazon third-party selling as well, but that is something to know. You'll get a 1099. You'll have to pay taxes based on that. Randy said some sellers send scary emails to scare you off listings. Only respond to emails from Amazon. Yeah, I agree, Randy. The email was from Amazon. It's an IP claim, like it's an IP counterfeit claim that hit my account. It's just weird. I'm like, after I get rid of all of these items that I have from this one brand, even though I've seen them in like Ross's and stuff and sell them, like I'm not gonna touch it again. It's not worth it. I made a couple $100 off of it, but I'd rather not deal with this person or brand. If it's the brand, that's awesome. If it's the person, I don't want to deal with their BS. So, have I ever had my Be Cool rule suddenly change itself? I changed them all to AI rules, then they switched back to their old ones on their own. I have not had that happen before. I'm sorry that has. If I'd reach out to support at Be Cool, maybe they've helped me with like a couple of problems that seem to be pretty fast. That is very weird though. I'm sorry that happened. Greg, for the IP claim, do not ignore it. You must respond to Amazon with your plan of action. They will stop your selling privilege if you ignore it. Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely doing that. I'm not ignoring it. I just think it's kind of sketchy. Like, I'm going to do absolutely everything that I can because it's a real thing. But there is an IP claim extension you can get for Chrome, but it isn't free. What does the IP claim extension do? Is it just check to see if products like have a history of getting IP claims on them? It's just weird that like there's tons and tons of sellers on this listing. And like I'll definitely do it. The first one I don't remember if I appealed it. I think I said this is something you should do. If you know this, Greg, you probably know this, but the first one I didn't submit a plan of action. I submitted I think that this was done in error because it seems like it was done in error. The first time too though, I didn't have pictures with the store tag, the receipt, and the UPC. Now I do, so I'm gonna submit that and maybe that will help a little bit. But if it is that, yeah, Joanna, I will tell you, the brand name is Alltech Lansing. It's here. I actually have some products from them over here. But, yeah, Greg, specifically, Greg, if you know that, like, about the claim, you've probably seen this brand. It's this brand. This is one of the other ones that I had gotten claimed for before from the same email address, at least. It's that little thing right there. So I don't know if it's going to be something. I'm going to stay away from it from now on. But, yeah, I'd be interested to know. When it comes to shipping food products to Amazon, if the date isn't 90 days or more, will Amazon reject the product? Rakeen, I'm not sure if Amazon will reject the product. I'm not sure if they necessarily check it. I just would never send in that. I'm trying to stay like 180 days or more. So, like, the first thing that I bought grocery items. I don't even remember which reselling video it was. I apologize, but if you want to go and comb through like hours of footage, you can find the one that I did that. No, I talked about it in a shipment video too. I've only done like 4 of those, but still a couple hours of footage. But that one, I realized that it was past the date and I didn't send it in. There's been a couple things that like when I'm in the store, like I'll just try to make sure that I don't send something in that is past those days. I don't think they'll reject it, but it's something that like, especially you're a new seller, Rakeen. I'm pretty sure you've said that before. But even like me, like I would never want a reason for Amazon to be mad at me. I want to like fly as under the radar as possible and make as much money as I need to or as much as I can. And so that's kind of the deal. Mark, do I do any online arbitrage only with stuff that I've previously purchased retail arbitrage before? I haven't like sought any online arbitrage stuff yet. I might, especially as I move into the van, but I haven't yet. I don't know where I would ship it to in the van though. That's the problem. Will I keep this live up? Yes, I will keep the live up for sure. Have I heard about getting ungated by East Bay? I've heard about it. I haven't done it before, but I have heard about it. Some people have told me about it, and I've seen it in some videos, but I have personally never tried it before. Oh, that's another video that I was planning on making. There's something that I'm interested in. Joe G Resells, what's going on? Welcome to the chat. I was kind of worried that you weren't here earlier. You're always here. But yeah. Have I heard about getting ungated in East Bay? I've heard of it. I have not done it. I'm currently thinking about going through the process of getting ungated through something else myself. And this just reminded me, so I'm going to type out a couple video ideas that I have in my brain that I've been thinking that I need to do. But I haven't personally done it. There might be some people in the chat who have tried it before, but I have not. Okay. Sorry about that. It's just housekeeping. I've heard Lantec issues IP claims. Yeah, I mean, I kind of hope it's them because I feel like I would get more of a response from them. I'm frustrated I didn't get one the first time, but yeah, I'll definitely do a plan of action. Greg, if you have, depending on, so yeah, I'm going to try it. Milo, welcome. Miller Gaming, cool. Got ungated with East Bay, Miller Gaming did. Depending on who you get, you basically will have to say that you will no longer sell that item and that you will thoroughly research any future products you plan to sell on their platform. And that's in the plan of action to Amazon, correct? Not to Alltech Lansing, if that is what it is. Don't let it be an issue to ruin your experience for selling. Yeah, for sure, great. And that's the main thing. This is at least how I understand it, is like, it's like, I don't know, to use some sort of language, like sometimes you got to get the bag, sometimes you got to protect the bag. And like Amazon, if that's what's giving you the bag, you got to protect that bag. So like selling privileges on Amazon are way more important than some product. So yeah, Greg, I'll definitely do that. I'll submit that plan of action through the appeal. And then I have those 2 other ones that are still open. They haven't been closed. So I'll just do the same thing for that as well. And just not worry about it. If similar to what happened with my Casemate video, I'm basically just giving you guys the premise of the video without as many cuts or moving around. And that's going to come soon. But yeah, if I don't sell these things in like a week or so, I'm just going to just get them all sent back to me. And that's actually one of the reasons I saved the tags. I have sheets of tags. I look kind of silly when I do this, but I saved all the tags because that, like, not that I knew that would be an issue at all for anything, but just more so like that way I can at least return them for credit if I do have to get them sent back to me. But I have like all of my receipts in this little accordion here. And then this is going to look like the most wild thing in the world. This is so tedious. Hopefully, like, especially because I have like currently, I've sold a bunch of this item, but I have like another like 5 or 10 of them that were like a $10 item. And so if I just get them sent back to me, like I have all of the tags here, so I could just find the specific tag because I have a video of it. So these are all tags. This is so tedious. What's wrong with me? All right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So I'll do. Greg, thank you so much for your help, man. I really appreciate that. Smokey, okay. What's up? Milo, is East Bay legit? I think Miller Gaming said that he got ungated with it, and I've heard some other people have had some luck with that as well. So probably. I don't know personally though, so I can't tell you. Sorry. For some quarters, you can get the extension. I don't quite understand that. For some quarters, you can get the extension. Sorry. Does East Bay require LLC, or does it just need a minimum order? My guess is, from what I understand, is you need some sort of business entity in order to get, some sort of business entity in order to get, sorry, my train of thought is totally lost. In order to get your seller certificate from your state, and then you're going to use that seller certificate from your state in order to create a business profile with East Bay, because I'm pretty sure to get like an invoiced order, they need to be sending it to you that way. If that's not true, somebody let me know. That's just my guess. If you could find a profitable product, it wouldn't hurt to try, but you might not be able to find a profitable product. You might have to kind of take the L on one of those in order to be able to make more money with other things. It's that sway. It's that sway, or it's that's way. Or it is that sway. I don't know. What's up, Anthony? Or that's my name. What's up? Audrey, when it comes to protection certification, requires if no other sellers submit it and you get them sent back to you, do you just turn around and resend them back in? I don't understand that. I don't think. product certification requests if no other sellers submit it, and you get them sent back to you. Do you mean like if another seller submits it? I don't know. I haven't had that issue before. I apologize for not understanding that question. Smokey, for what I've seen, all you do on eBay is buy 10 products and you might get an invoice even without an LLC or permit. Interesting. Boy Rook, eBay works for Nike. Interesting. That might be a video. Miller Gaming just started on Amazon 2 weeks ago. So far got engaged into Adidas, Nike, Under Armour, Reebok, and some more. So far doing good. Got a lot of sales this week. I should probably do that then. I've been kind of hesitant, like I explained in my last one, just to like, because I don't want to give up to like the whole world what like you need to do in order to get ungated and all this stuff. But just because I don't want to oversaturate everything, but I don't know. I was probably just too hesitant for myself. So I might be doing that soon, this week or so, because that'll definitely help while I'm trying to find everywhere to resell that's not in my normal place while I'm living in the van. The IP extension. Some quarters. When you said quarters, Greg, I was thinking you meant quarters as in quarters of the business year, not literal quarters, money. My bad. Ay, ay, ay. Right. We should change the angle here. We've been at the same angle for too long today. Jeez. All right. Just got ungated through Frontier in groceries. Cool. I didn't know airlines sold groceries, but like that you can do that. Order it and return it once you get the invoice. Mark, that's sneaky, bro. I don't know if I would do that, but I might. Like on toys, they require product safety certification sometimes, or baby items. Honestly, so in my, I don't know if you've seen this video, but in one of the last videos, they required that on these items. Right over here. Oh, jeez. And it was in my last shipment video. I think I posted it on Sunday, and I just took it out of the shipment, so I didn't have to worry about it personally. But I can always double check to see if they might have sent it in, because I don't know how to get that, honestly. East Miller Gaming said he had to submit the invoice a couple times. I've heard that a lot. I've heard sometimes you have to just submit the invoice a bunch of times. Miller, did you have an LLC when you did that, or was it just sole prop? Just to answer Rakeen's question as well. eBay is hit or miss according to Mackenzie and her sources. They ran out of items I bought, so they're only shipping what they had left. Probably won't get an invoice since it will be 10 items. That's annoying, Smokey. That sucks. I hate that. Like when I buy from Academy for like some replenishments on stuff, I'm like, oh, nice. They got 50 of this item. I can make a lot of money. And then they're like, I'm sending you 14 because we're sold out. I'm like, that sucks. Yeah, Joe, all good. The 33 of us watching. So I was thinking more of like making a full video on it, because I bet you can get some views on a video of how to get ungated in Nike. And so I'm trying to figure out a way to do that, obviously, because I like the views, because views equal money in my business. But I want to do that in a way that's not like, this is how exactly you do that. But I don't know. Mostly because like I've had people, like the first 2 or 3 people I've had reach out to me who let me know, like step by step, how to get ungated in Nike. Like specifically ask me to not share it with my audience. And so I want to respect that no matter what. So. Ooh, backpack as a back to school. That's a great point. Ooh, Milo, another site was saying another reseller was saying which site to go to, and they had to stop orders due to too many orders. That's another thing. Like, I don't want to have anybody be dealing with that issue. And that's the main other thing too, is like if I find a site that does something like that, that's a little bit less known, and like they would have, like you might have to explain stuff to Amazon, and I don't want to like come under Amazon's bad graces, but no. Yeah, Joe, please don't return after the order. That's the number one reason distributors will not work with and hate Amazon resellers. Yeah, and that's why I don't necessarily would do it, but yeah. I would say not how to get ungated, but it was all over YouTube. Yeah. You didn't need an LLC for East Bay, Miller says, Rakeen. So I think it was Rakeen who asked. So if you're still at work and you're hearing this in your earbuds, know that. Buy headbands, get ungated for around $100. Product is not profitable, so just give them away to family. That's what I did. That's cute, actually. I need some headbands. My hair's getting really long. I've been like I said, I'm a pretty frugal guy, and so I've been trying not to like just buy stuff just to have it. But every time I go to like TJ Maxx, they always have like really nice Nike headbands that I would wear to play soccer, and I'm like, it's $6, but it's like I don't need those though. I might get them. I might just do this though. That's a better idea. You don't have to make a business account. It's just a regular account like any customer would make on Eastbay. That is very interesting. That might be a video I write tonight or tomorrow and put up potentially soon. I might have to like product test it with somebody else first, just to make sure I'm not giving away too much. All right, it looks like we don't have a ton more questions. I don't think I have a lot more that I want to get into, and we're kind of right around the 2-hour point again, which is pretty nice. It feels like more people will know this info now. Is this very niche knowledge? Because I feel like more people will know this info now. I feel like it's niche. I was aware of it, right? Like generally, I don't necessarily get. My wife just sent me. Whoa! How is that there? Oh my freaking gosh! I'm so sorry. I'm reporting that immediately. What? Whoa. How is that here? This user's messages will be hidden. My gosh, I'm so sorry. That is so effing racist. Whew. What the? Oh. I'm so sorry, guys. Kenzie, thank you. Greg, thank you as well. Yeah, thanks, Joe. I reported them as well, and I deleted all of that BS. Wow, that is not how I would like to end things. So if anyone has any more questions, just about anything, we can chill. But what I was saying, what the frick? All right, it looks like they just created a different account. What in the world? Let me see. Yeah, I need to go and do that. And make like 1 billion words blacklisted. Yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. If you have questions, let me know. What I was saying was my wife sent me $14 to go buy headbands. Why? Let me find out. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to blacklist. How to blacklist word on live stream chat. I'm pretty sure I can figure out how to do this. Dude. What the heck? Oh my god. How do I adjust the chat? Turn off live chat. I'm so bad at live streaming. I'm trying to figure out how to... How do I change the chat settings? Okay, I'm turning on slow mode real quick. So that means that, holy, I don't know why. Let me make sure everything is deleted. Yeah, boy, I don't blame you. Let me... Yeah, I'm trying to... I don't know exactly how to do that today. It looks like we don't have a lot more questions coming through. I think, yeah, check out East Bay Milo. I'm going to figure out how to live stream a little better. And I think that we're going to call it for the night. I'm really... Man, that really sucks that came in at the end. And I really apologize for that. And I will figure out how to deal with that next time. Okay. Love you all. See you soon. Bye.